All right, everybody, welcome to the newest edition of the Bronx Muchachos podcast on the Baseball Banter Broadcast Network. Coming to this network right now, you get a bunch of all your baseball needs. We've got plenty of things going on, especially this off season. I'm your host, Mark, and today I got my main man, as always, Dave. Dave, what's up, brother?
Not much. And just so that everybody knows, we're doing a bit of a schedule flippy floppy type of thing. So if you see us live on Thursdays, the following week you will see us live on Mondays. We have some work scheduling conflicts going on, and we used to be every Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Everybody knows that. But with things having changed and everything, this is the best way that we could still give you guys what you want and stay consistent at the same time. So bear with us. It's going to be a little strange for a little bit, but we'll get it figured out. But yes, welcome everyone. We're recording this on Sunday morning, so happy Sunday. And hope everybody's week was great.
And most importantly, happy couple hours before the winter meeting starts. That's the most important part of it all. Hopefully, as Yankee fans, we're going to see something happen. I'm not 100%. I don't feel as positive or as, I don't feel as good as I have in years past. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot of names, a lot of people out there to discuss. I mean, the big, Yankee fans were always big. We're always deep sea fishing, and you're looking for your whales. And there's only a few of them really out there. As whale wise, we're talking. Imani is the Japanese pitcher that everybody wants, and then on the hitting side, it's kind of been like a tennis match going back and forth between Tucker and Bellinger, because the Yankees are saying Bellinger's their number one option. Tucker is obviously the better, and Bellinger not for nothing is also the better fit, but Tucker is the bigger prize if you want to go down that road. So with that said, going into these meetings. First and foremost, last week, Devin Williams signed with the Mets. Don't care. Glad he's off. Glad he's going to little brother.
I talked about this. What was it, Tuesday, when I jumped on with Jeremy? We had Jana from Base Media on, and Roman Rodriguez and a couple of others. And I described the New York Mets as the friend that you have that waits for you to break up with your girlfriend and then comes in and steals your ex from you. Like, this is who the New York Mets are. Like, the New York Mets, they've taken Juan Soto, Clay Holmes, and now Devin Williams.
Amongst others. Don't forget, you could go back to Severino.
I know, but I'm talking about...
I'm just recently.
Just recent history. Those three guys, like Frankie Montas as well. So it's like...
Adam Ottavino.
Yeah, and him. It's like they just sit around and wait for these Yankees rejects, if you will, and just scoop them up. Like, were the Mets not watching what Devin Williams was across the town? Like, he couldn't pitch his way out of a wet paper bag. Like, they had to demote him to the 8th inning guy, and he finally got his head out of his ass. But they're paying him $50 million, and I made the joke of, what are they doing? Paying him $1 million for every save that he blows?
It might be, but I will say at the same time,
changing scenery might be good for him. Who knows? I mean, I wish the guy well. I didn't want to see him come here and fail, but I mean, experiencing what we experienced, it was just.
You remember on our chats, man? I will, like, during the trade deadline, I wanted him traded.
They should have.
I was a very big. There's other people out there that were big proponents of this. Also, I'm a big proponent of trade Devin Williams. They were getting all these back end rotation guys. I'm sorry, not back end bullpen pieces. Trade Williams. You should have traded him. They should have traded him at that point and got something back for him, and they didn't. So, he was not he became a untrusted arm very quickly, especially early in the season when he refused, and that's a good word to use, is refused to use his fastball to at least show the fastball to get people off the changeup. And until he finally bought into that, he was not good. But that's needless to say. I mean, the Mets on their side, not to say they're going, they're always going after rejects, but the Mets have a back of the bullpen problem as well. They don't have Edwin Diaz right now, as of right now. So they need to kind of shore up the back end of that bullpen. They think Williams could do it, or they're trying to piggyback, have Williams and Diaz give them the setup man closer. Your 8th, 9th innings are going to be taken care of, so you're a 7-inning game. So
not to make this episode all about the Mets, because I'm not, but
just
they have an everything problem. You got guys opting out of contract, waiving no trade clauses, jumping ship like a what, and they got an everything problem. They don't have a starting rotation. Never mind bullpen.
But mind you, they also got an image problem too, because now you're getting reports of Lindor, the captain of your team, Lindor. He's having problems once again with Jeff McNeil. He has problems with Juan Soto. Like that becomes a cultural problem in that clubhouse. So if those reports are true again,
Lindor thinks it's his team. And rightfully so. I mean, he's been there the longest out of anyone on that roster, with the exception, I think, of Brandon Nimmo before he got traded. And McNeil. McNeil's been there for a hot minute as well. But it's not looking good for the Mets. When has it ever looked good for the Mets? Probably not since 2000. 2015. I take that back, when they went to the World Series.
Yeah, 2015 when they had a really good that rotation was really good. That could have been something for the Mets, for Queens to really grab onto, and it just fell apart.
Yeah.
They screwed over
nasty that year.
Yeah, but they also Mets did Mets things. I mean, they pushed Matt Harvey to pitch longer than he should have, and his arm fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Wheeler wasn't a big fan of being over there. They had Jason DeGrom, and he was yeah, he was flame throwing all over the place. They had Noah Syndergaard, and the next thing and stupidly they didn't watch how he was working out, and he was just going, "Oh, I'm going to throw even harder than what I'm throwing before," and hurts himself. So it's a lot of things over there that kind of go
the very fact that you had a rotation where.
And they were young. They were all in their
20s. DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, and Harvey, and DeGrom's your number 3. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Looking at it, all these years later, 15 years later. Like, Jesus, man.
10 years later, but Matt Harvey was that good coming out the gates, Like, Noah Syndergaard was coming up and was going to be that dude.
Yeah,
and your number 5 was like a Steven Matz, I think, or something like that, as the lone lefty in that rotation.
Yeah,
like it's wild to think about. But needless to say, like we said, this isn't a Mets podcast. We're going back to the Yankees.
Sometimes we go look at the red ball, and there it goes. Anyway,
but listen, 12 p.m. Sunday is when the winter meetings pretty much starts. That's when everyone's getting in there. So.
I'm sad we can't go. I'm sad we found out what we found out.
Yeah, anybody who is not print media is not allowed into the winter meetings this year, which whatever, man. I'm not even getting into that stuff. There's a lot of bigger names out there that supposedly are not allowed in there. So, it happens. It's baseball.
It's right in our backyard in Orlando. That's why I was getting excited about being able to go mess around for a couple of hours down there and come back home, but not so much.
No, C-League is C-League. I mean, I'm sorry, not C-League, but C-League was like this. You got Manfred, who just hates people altogether. Doesn't he's all about the money and doesn't care what the fans think. Basically, doesn't care about the product, doesn't care about the fans. So
he doesn't care what the players think. Never mind the fans.
Oh, no, he's not paid to. He's paid to only care about what the owners think and make sure the owners get money. So that's why next year is going to be a interesting.
Well, the CBA doesn't expire until December 2nd. So at least we're guaranteed the entire season next year. 2027, maybe not so much.
Well, that's what I was saying. Next year is going to be interesting because the CBA, because there's going to, everyone knows there's going to be a lockout. Everyone knows that there's a big fight on their hands. Let this year play out and see what happens after that. But let's get into it. Let's get into some of the names. Let's start offensively for for right now, let's go with Tucker versus Bellinger, because that is the bigger question mark for the Yankees. Who is more important for them to resign? Is it Bellinger, or is it more important for them to sign Kyle Tucker? And what did both those moves mean, short term and long term, for the New York Yankees? I'll let you throw that out. I'll throw that to you first, Dave.
I would say Cody Bellinger is the priority. He can play first base in all three outfield positions. Kyle Tucker can only play right field, the injured list, or DH. Kyle Tucker's a great outfielder. I'm not taking the risk of paying some dude $400 million that was constantly injured last year and had to spend a lot of time playing DH. We already got 5 DHs on this team. We don't need a sixth. We also don't need someone that is plagued by injury either. We got enough of that going on as well. So, stats wise, let me pull up Baseball Reference and put aside.
I will say, Kyle Tucker played through an injury. He had a broken pinky and played through a broken pinky for months.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, I want us to get away from.
Well, that's not like an injury where
injured
it's
players,
but it's not like a soft tissue injury. Is what I'm saying. Like that's a freak. That's more like a freak accident. Like when Judge broke his wrist. That's not where Judge was getting the oblique injuries or things like that, where it's soft tissue. This was like, oh, that's a freak accident that happened to Kyle Tucker. So, it is what it is. I mean, I think his swing fits Yankee. I think Kyle Tucker's swing fits Yankee Stadium. I think he can play a decent left field for the Yankees. I think he's not the alpha dog that's going to be in the room. He could be a nice complementary piece to Judge. Doesn't have to move Judge out of right field.
And let's not forget, if they pull off one of these moves, someone's getting traded. Either it's Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones has to be traded because
who do you think?
I don't know at this point, man. Spencer Jones' strikeout rate's way too high in the minor leagues to make him appealing to anybody as far as I'm concerned. J-Dom hasn't had enough playing time to really amass any kind of value, in my opinion. He came up and lit the world on fire by taking Justin Verlander deep in that series against Houston in September of 2023, then blows his arm out on a relay throw from center field and was out the entire 2024 season. I don't know, because we don't know who the Yankees value more. Obviously, they don't value Jason Dominguez. Look at last season, where they were constantly pulling him out of the game after 7 innings to put somebody else in there, mainly Trent Grisham, because they don't trust his defense. Well, no kidding. You took a center fielder, told him to go play the hardest left field there is in Major League Baseball, probably next to Fenway Park. Probably next to Fenway Park with that big-ass wall out there and left. But I don't know which way they go this year. Constantly hearing rumors about them being tied to Fernando Tatis Jr., and you see Tatis Jr. in the Dominican Winter League rocking a Yankees jersey, so we don't know what the hell is going to happen with that. I don't know where they pivot to, but someone's going to have to go. And they just added Spencer Jones to the 40-man roster so they don't lose him in the Rule 5 draft. Mm-hmm. It's a big unknown at this point.
Well, Spencer Jones was going if he was going to the Rule 5, he was going to get taken. It's
absolutely. Who wouldn't? 6'7" left-handed bat with power.
You'd be dumb not to take him. And he's top 1 percentile in athletics. He's so athletic.
Kid's a beast.
He is. You're right. It's the strikeout rate, and it's the peaks, and it's massive peaks and massive valleys.
And I got to see it up close and personal too. I took my son to see the second game of the AAA, basically the AAA equivalent of the ALCS, and they played the Marlins AAA team, the Jumbo Shrimp, and I was excited to see Jones play, and he struck out all 3 times. Struck out twice and flied out to center field, but I was just like, damn, dude, like. He's got such a violent swing. It's not even funny. And I'd like to see that get changed before he throws his back out. But it's a big unknown because, cool. We got one guy back, but someone's going to have to get voted off the island.
But don't forget, we watched them. You and I watched them, a couple years ago?
I don't think
It was
Did he
during.
play or did he come in as a defensive replacement? I can't remember.
No, he played in that breakout game that they had when they played. You know the
I had to leave.
Oh,
You
that's
stayed.
right.
I left.
I watched it. Well, he hit 2 home runs in that game. He turned around and was crushing baseballs against tops. Against some of the better specs in the game. So it's like I said, it's a peak and a valley. Like you catch him on the right month, and he's going to light the world on fire. You catch him on the wrong month, and like let's put it this way: in your case, like he had back problems before, like going into that series. He had a month where his back was hurting him. So does that affect the swing? Yeah, I think. But I don't want to turn around and just say, oh well, he had back problems. We should disregard that because
I'm not. I'm just saying it's something to think about.
No, you're right. But here's the bigger thing to think about: when he was hot and he would like every other hit was a home run, Yankees didn't call him up to the big leagues when they could have.
No, I mean,
Yankees were struggling. They were on fully in depth, and they were fully into their Boone June swoons going on, and it was going through July, and it was towards the beginning of August. And Jones was crushing the baseball, and they didn't call him up. They didn't change anything.
You know how the Yankees are with service time manipulation. I mean, does it really surprise you? Look what they did with Glaber.
No, that you're right about that. But what I'm saying is, my point was that Yankees are letting you know what they think about their guys. That they don't like Dominguez, and if you really want to think about it, they didn't want Volpe to get the boos, and they put Dominguez in to hit for Volpe. And what did Dominguez do? Just rip a double.
Ropes a double. I'm like, this kid sat on the bench the entire Blue Jays series
and the Red Sox series. He sat on the bench. The Red Sox series, and he got minimum playing time starting from the middle of July on. And
it pissed me off so much.
Just hits. And I keep saying, this is why he was our best spec. Better than Wells, much better than Volpe. And you're going to turn around and the Yankee brass will still tell you that Volpe's the best thing since sliced bread.
Or they'll just turn on and say that Trent Grisham is better than Jason Dominguez, which to me is just like, okay. Whatever. But get back to what we were talking about. So here's a side-by-side comparison of Tucker versus Bellinger. Bellinger has a higher WAR. A lot more games played, obviously. Plate appearances is almost double. Hits almost double in the favor of Bellinger. Bellinger has 225 career home runs to Kyle Tucker's 147, which I think is really low. I thought that was going to be higher.
He played in Houston. He wasn't a home run hitter.
But where Tucker has Bellinger is in the stolen base department, batting average, OBP, slug, OPS, OPS plus. But I attribute that to the year that Bellinger fell off and when the Dodgers just said thanks, but no thanks, and he went to Chicago.
Yeah, but don't forget, he was in Chicago for 2 seasons. He wasn't there for just one. He was there for 2 seasons.
No, I know. But I'm saying if he hadn't fallen off the map with the Dodgers, I think those numbers are definitely
don't forget, Bellinger dislocated his shoulder. Everyone saw it on TV. They dislocated his shoulder, high-fiving somebody after a home run. Okay, that's when his decline happened, and then all of a sudden the back issue started, and everything else started. And he's like he's kind of like Mookie Betts in a sense, where it's an every other year player. Like there's one year you'll have Mookie Betts that is out of this world, great, and then the next year he's pedestrian, and then the following year he is out of this world, great, and then he's back to being pedestrian again. And pedestrian for Mookie Betts is still above average, mind you. I'm not crapping on the guy. It's just that when your expectations are close, like what Mike Trout used to be, what Bryce Harper was for quite so many years, all those outfielders that came up and were fantastic. Mookie Betts would have like that kind of seesaw where he's fantastic, like top 3 MVP voting, and then what happened? Like, he's slumping or this, that. It took him longer the next season to kind of get into it. And then the following season, he's hitting off the rip. So I think Bellinger is kind of like that, where he fits the Yankees so well with the versatility. But I just don't think that they're going to use the versatility. They're going to and this is what they're going to claim, is that the versatility is where it's at for him. They're not going to use that versatility. That's the problem. Is that He's going to be in left. They re-sign. He's going to be the left fielder because Grisham, with his declining defensive stats, is going to play center field. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Just put that one out there. They're going to they sign Bellinger. They're still going to put Rice in at first base.
They shouldn't be. He should be the full-time backup catcher. End of story.
Full-time starting catcher, not backup catcher. At this point, you're taking Rice and his bat over Austin Wells and his bat, and Rice can throw out people where Wells can't throw out people. It's kind of going down this road, especially Rice's arm is better than Wells' arm.
Yeah, but at least the games that I saw Rice behind the dish, that's what I saw his weakness was. Strong arm, yes. Accurate, no. Wells is more accurate than Ben Rice.
Yeah, what I'm saying is you got a shot at these guys. You're throwing these guys out with Rice. What I'm also saying is that Wells also has that condition where he's losing feeling in his hand. So how much time are you going to really be? Can you use him behind the plate before you got to sit him because all of a sudden his hand is numb. Rice is as of right now. Rice is a better catcher than first base. Rice will be probably working with whomever, probably Dan Furioto right now, working on first base, getting his feet right and everything like that. Hopefully, at some point, because Volpe can't throw for anything even with an unseparated shoulder and torn labrum, that he's going to have to pick out all those balls that Volpe can't get over to him. So
I just wish the common sense fairy would show up and smack the Yankees front office upside the head and put Rice behind the plate, whether it's a 1 or 2, whatever, and put Bellinger at first base.
Or utilize Bellinger more at first base.
Figure out the outfield.
You can utilize Bellinger more at first base because then it'll save his legs and save his back some. And guess what? You have a Gold Glover there, and I've talked about this in the past, where if you have a Gold Glover at first base, it makes your shortstop, who's putrid, much better. Because God forbid they do anything about getting an actual shortstop that can play the position. They're going to run whenever Volpe comes off the IL. They'll just run him back out there, and we'll have the same problems as we've had for the past 3 seasons.
They'll probably platoon Caballero and Cabrera.
I think Cabby gets. It's kind of funny to say Cabby because you got Caballero gets the lion's share, and then what's his name? Cabrera comes in and kind of is more the utility type of guy. But that's neither here nor there. We're in the outfield. But in your situation, in your scenario, if you get to resign Bellinger for first base, then you still have left field open. So that means that you got the chance of having Dominguez and Jones still around, one or the other. Or that leads you to another deal, which is the Fernando Tatis Jr. deal. Look how that just slides. Look how that still slides into the right direction. And then you can trade Jones out to San Diego, and then you can take Dominguez, send him down to Miami, and get Alcantara or Cabrera back as part of the deal to get one of those two back. And now you're playing, and now you're just fixing everything right there.
The fact that we're going into this week not hearing anything solid. I mean, they've been linked to talking to Mike King along with every other team in baseball right now.
Not every. Most of the
teams.
It's
an uneasy feeling, not like
the West Coast teams aren't talking about. Mike King's not talking to the West Coast teams. It's the East Coast teams, or as much East Coast as like
outside of LA, outside of the Dodgers. Is there really anyone worth talking to? I mean,
Texas has got a lot. Texas just threw out a whole bunch of money. They can turn around and get some money back and get pitching because they still need pitching. Astros just lost Framber Valdez, or they're going to lose Framber Valdez.
Where's he going?
Still, I haven't heard the Astros bringing him back, but I heard the Phillies, I heard the Mets, and I heard the Orioles are looking at him. Those are the 3 teams that are looking at Framber Valdez. And the reports were from what's his name? I have it on the tip of my tongue. Hector Gomez was that 6 years, $200 million to the Mets. But like I said,
I'll believe it when it happens.
If it hasn't signed, probably you'll see it happening this week. If that deal's legit, you'll see that happening this week. But needless to say, I mean, King. You got Toronto still out there looking around for players. You got Philadelphia who wants more, and they're looking to get rid of Nick Castellanos as we're going sideways now with all these other deals. But I think this week you're going to find out. Like I said, I think the Yankees will go and they'll get I think they'll get Bellinger. I think it's not he wants 7 years. The Yankees aren't pushing past 5, or maybe they're saying 4 with an option for 5 or something like that. And Boris is like, nah, it's going to be the number 7. So go get 7 and come back to us is what they're trying to say, and see what happens. I don't know. Kyle Tucker. Don't forget, Kyle Tucker's like 2 years younger than Bellinger too, so you can give him a 7-year deal or more because you're going to get him. You'll have him for longer.
Yeah, but the other question is, does he want to come here?
Well, let's throw it this way. Kyle Tucker is a Tampa native, and it'll be nice to have spring training in your backyard, playing most of the games where your family can really get to easily, and you have home game. You're visiting games in at the Trop will be where your parents can go to, and your family and your friends can go to with ease, and you'll be there more times than say back in the when you're with the Astros, or especially with the Cubs where you can't get there. Yeah. So I'm just saying there's certain inherent positives with him wanting to be with the Yankees, and that or Toronto, because Toronto's over in Dunedin, or the Phillies, which is in Clearwater. That's all within the an easy vicinity of of Tampa, of the main part of Tampa. Like Detroit's there too, in Lakeland, which is not a far drive from Tampa. Pittsburgh's not spending money, so Bradenton's out of the question. I don't think that the Orioles down in Sarasota are going for him. So just kind of thinking about it. It's like back in the day, Roy Halladay. Roy Halladay played for Toronto for so many years. Lived in Trinity, Florida. Guess what? When he got traded, he's like, I don't want to go anywhere where I got to move my family. We live in Florida. We live in Trinity or Newport Richie or whatever the case may be. I don't want to travel far. This is basically the vicinity where I want to be because I want spring training here so I can stay and be with my family. So he went closer. He stayed with the Phillies, which is literally like 10, maybe 15 minutes drive from where the Blue Jays have their spring training facility to the Phillies, because I made that drive before plenty of times.
I was hoping when he was a free agent from Toronto all those years ago that the Yankees would have scooped him up. That would have been, oh God. What could have been?
But onto the next things, which is, you do have Schwarber out there too, which I don't see as a fit for the Yankees. I don't even hear any whispers of connection to them.
He's a DH these days.
Yeah, but he can play. He can spot at first base if needs be. He's not going back to the outfield. But at the same token, like if you think about it, where you're gonna take a look. If Red Sox are interested in him, they could throw him over at first base. That spells the end of Tristan Casas. The Phillies, I think, still are interested in bringing him back, and then you got other teams like Toronto's can grab him too. Like Toronto's going all in for this. They tasted it last year. They want to continue on. But and then after that, you got kind of the other. I would say the big names out there are Imani, because I was getting his name wrong the entire time. Unfortunately, I still get his name wrong. How about that? But that's the biggest name the Yankees are connected to on the pitching side. It's multifaceted for them because then they get back into the Japanese market, which you can see if you get a big name, big Japanese player, and big Japanese name, like what it will do for your team and the money that brings in. I mean, Shohei Ohtani has turned around and already fulfilled, already got the Dodgers $700 million. So his entire contract is now a wash now. They don't have to worry about that going forward.
Pretty much.
And then add on everything else, like what Sasaki and then what Yamamoto are doing. So I'm thinking Amai is going to be important. And then obviously Edwin Diaz is the big reliever out there. And I can't see the Mets not going for him. Just like I can't see the Mets not trying to re-sign Pete Alonso, even though the Red Sox are big on Pete Alonso as well. So I think it's I think for those two kind of guys, like it's a good it's a good problem to have for Diaz and for Pete Alonso, because the market's not massive out there for them, but they're the big names in the market and they can control what they want. Like Diaz wants another $20 million a year. It's whether or not the Mets are going to go for that. And if Steve Cohen wants him at 20 mil, he's going to go get him at 20 mil, or even go a little higher than that, and doesn't care about the luxury tax.
I can see them doing that.
The Mets and just give double middle fingers to them, like, listen, like I'm going to raise your price that much higher because of what you just did to me last year.
But the team didn't go anywhere. Like I can see them shelling out the money if like he was a big part of them making a playoff push. But they didn't make the playoffs. He already set the record with the highest contract for a reliever in MLB history. At like what? You got like what, 120 million?
No, it was 100 for 5 years or something, or maybe just shy underneath 100.
Like 105, 110, something ridiculous.
But he was at 100, maybe just a pinch under 100, something like that. It was maybe.
I think
just
it was
a pinch
over.
Under. I thought it was under. I thought he was at 20. I thought he was a 20 million a year guy, and then Josh Hader got a little bit less than him.
Yeah, Hader got 75 million for 3 years. But there was also a trade that happened this week. The Red Sox sent John Doxson Garcia to the Pittsburgh Pirates for Otaveo. So they strengthened their rotation, which I'm surprised they.
Yeah, Oviedo, and he's good friends with Chapman.
I'm actually surprised they traded Garcia, just because I thought they would have hung out because he's just a mammoth of a human being. So yeah, that trade really shocked me in a way, but they do have Rafael. They still have Duran. They still have, God, I'm blanking on it. They got Roman Anthony. So he was like Weiler Abreu.
Speaking of
so
teams,
yeah, he's like fifth on this depth chart.
I was gonna say, speaking of people who are gonna have to start making trades, the Red Sox are gonna have to start clearing up some outfield space too.
Yeah, well, I mean, here Jaron Duran's name being mentioned left and right in all these trade deals, so who knows how much longer he's gonna be in Boston for, which I think would just be an absolute total mistake on their end. But
yeah. Or you can
don't know.
And you go really outside the box and then see if see if you can do a sign and then do trades right after, which is sign Bregman at third base. For the Yankees sign him at third base and then move on and move Ryan McMahon and a spec to somebody else.
McMahon's owed too much money. I don't see that happening.
If you give up a good spec, you can turn around and someone will eat that money.
We'll see.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's all about how creative you can actually be. If you give a spec and say, guess what, you're getting one of our top. Like if you give up a Hess in that deal, you're getting yourself at least not a number one, but you're getting a 2 through 4 kind of guy. And the Yankees are producing pitching, so you turn around and say, okay, I can roll with this now, and I'll get a third baseman. He might be light hitting, but is what it is. But you can kind of see
that's an understatement.
Yeah. But the problem comes down to is that what the brass and what Cashman is going to do, because Cashman if Cashman wants somebody and trades for him, he's not giving him up. Like it's a solid thing. Like the Yankees could try to trade out Jazz Chisholm this offseason. He's got 1 year left on his deal. Why not turn around and get the max for him, what you can get? Open up spots along the way, but they might not do that. Ryan McMahon's the same thing. Like you got a couple of years left with McMahon. Why not get rid of him and get and sign Bregman, who's a much better player all around? To those kind of things make sense to me. I don't feel like the Yankees are in a position or want to make moves like that. I think you and I spoke about this. They have to get Bellinger back. They have to go over $300 million, and they're gonna wind up doing that. They're gonna go over $300. But the same token, they're not going wild over 300. And I think that the problem comes down to is that one, Cashman is told to spend, he's told what he can and can't do, and some of these things work out, and a lot of them, and some don't, obviously. But Hal also kind of handcuffs him and says, "We're going to do this, but we can't go further than that." Like look at when they re-sign Judge. Okay, you can re-sign Judge, but we have a lot of problems on our team still. We have to get starting rotation. We need a pitcher. We need and I think at the time, was it a left fielder or was it a third baseman, whatever the case may be. And Hal told him, like, it's one or the other. You can't have both. You got to figure out the other one. So it goes to a certain extent, but then doesn't go all in to get the job done. Like, you will get to a certain point and then backs off and says, okay, we did it. I did. Look, everyone, I did what I did, and now we're good. And I feel like this is what this offseason is going to be. It's like, we're going to get Bellinger, and we're going to spend the money on Bellinger, and I'm going to step away. Or maybe get Belly and then get, like, Amani, and then, hey, guys, we're good now. Like, we filled in all the holes we need to fill in. We brought back – Judge wanted to run it back with those two guys in the outfield. Oh, we got it for Judge. We got everyone you wanted. We got another pitcher. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Other than I'm actually waiting to see what I think this off season will be a lot more on the trading front than it will be on the signing. I mean, there's not many big names out there to sign. Like we said, Bellinger, Bregman, Tucker, obviously, Amani. They do have a bunch of Japanese players coming around too with Okamoto, and Murakami as well. You got Diaz out there. You got names, but it's not. But I feel like it's not going to be as.
It's a week off season. I'm not.
Yeah. I think it's a better off season for trades. I think you're going to see some trades coming out. I think everyone's whetting the appetite with a Tatis Jr. here or this guy there, or Duran going. I always heard Duran to San Francisco, but who knows what's going on out there. But I can see the Dodgers coming in with something wild and crazy, picking up somebody else. But
I mean, they're looking like there's rumors going around saying they're trying to trade Teoscar Hernandez. There's talks about Tyler Glasnow. They're looking to. What the rumors are saying is that the Dodgers are looking to dump quite a few dudes.
Don't forget some of these guys already have deferred money on them, so it's not like those kids are still getting paid. But I think it's more along the lines of they have too many
down the road.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they have 9 positions to fill, and they got like 13 people for like the 9 fielding positions. They got 5 starting rotation spots for 7 or 8 starting pitchers. They have to start kind of figuring out where these guys are going. If you have a Yamamoto, a Snell, Otani's going to pitch. You got Glasnow, and then you probably have to add 2 more. You have 2 more guys in there because not for those guys, it's not a starting rotation of 5; it's a starting rotation of 6 because of Otani. It's gonna be weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Everybody, buckle up.
You're true, but I still think and I think the Yankees are missing. I think there's plenty of opportunities out there, and I think the Yankees it's going to pass the Yankees by, and we're going to be in for a uneventful season. Like this is going to be the presetting for the uneventful season, is what I'm saying. If they don't make it, if nothing big happens, and the biggest move is literally just bringing Bellinger back, and maybe they get Amani as well. Like if those are your only moves, it's not an eventful It's not a eventful season going to happen. Because then you're going to have the same issues. You're going to have pretty much the same. You have the same team coming back. What are you going to do? Do a 94-win team that struggled offensively? You're not changing your offense at all, and you saw regressions in a bunch of those guys too. Not changing.
I mean, it's all well and good the names on the paper, but the names on the paper got to go out there and perform to their potential. That's. This is bottom line. I mean, they're not robots; they're human beings. Like they need to go out and perform. I mean, you could put Barry Bonds, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit, and Sammy Sosa on this team in their prime, if they don't go out there and perform, I mean, all you got is names on a bunch of names on a piece of paper.
You're right, but what I'm saying is that there's a track record of these guys of players they're not performing. There's a track record of Grisham of not performing. He hit home runs and then he fell off. Then he fell off the ledge. Bellinger, here and there, especially in the postseason, fell off the ledge. You know, they had Goldschmidt.
The whole team fell off the ledge in the postseason.
But I'm saying I said Bellinger specifically in the postseason. The rest of the season, there, Grisham, he showed he first half of the season good and then boom fell off. You know, Jazz Chisholm we'll turn around, get it in. We'll be like, okay, I'm hitting 70%. I'm hitting well. Get an injury, come back to home run season time. I'm going back for the home runs. Ryan McMahon can't hit water if he fell out of a boat at times. You can't figure that out. Volpe, just add your comments there because everyone knows that he shouldn't be on this team and shouldn't be playing right now. Even after comes back from his injury, you know, Wells, just like Volpe, he is like 6 weeks of utter trash and then 2 weeks of really good. So it's
let me ask you this.
It's the same team is what I'm saying. You're going to come run it back with the same team who underperforms.
So let me ask you this. If Volpe comes back and sets the world on fire after getting his shoulder fixed, are you going to change your opinion?
No, because I think it's going to be for 2 weeks. I hope he does. Listen, I'm going to say this. I'm not changing my opinion.
I hope this kid makes you eat your words. I really do.
I do. Listen, I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you a secret. I hope he does too, because I'm a Yankee fan first and foremost. I hope he does well. My thing is that there's 3 seasons of him not doing that. So there's already a long enough track record to show you that he's not a good player. Sorry to tell you that. You know, sorry to put that out there, but there's a track record of that of him being not good. So does he come back and do well? Yeah, I hope so. I hope that not having to play 160 games, that they figure this out at some point. That him not playing 160 games a season will do wonders for the kid.
You know what would have avoided this had the Yankees just re-signed Didi Gregorius that offseason? Because then you wouldn't have had the Gleyber Torres experiment at short, and then you wouldn't have had the whole
IKF
or experimenting with Gio Urshela at shortstop in spring training, which I was like, this is such a bad idea.
Remember, I told Danny what we said. Like I told Danny after the first game, yo, IKF is not a shortstop. And he's like, oh, gotta give him time. Like 2 months later, he goes, you called that first game. He goes, how did you? He goes, you saw that game 1. I go, yep.
This all could have been avoided how they just re-signed Gregorius for 2 or 3 years.
It was funny.
Plug the gap.
Gregorius left it. You know, he signed. When did he go to Phillies or something like that? And he was out of baseball real fast.
Yeah.
They I'll give them this credit. Like they got rid of him just at the right. They let him go at the right time. It was an unfortunate thing, but they let him go at the right time.
Yeah, but I wonder how much of that was playing in New York on a postseason team, having success, and then going to a place where it was the complete opposite.
Yeah, but the Phillies weren't the complete opposite. They were building up. They were building up to that. They had Bryce Harper at that point. Like they were.
What I'm saying is, I wonder if him leaving New York, going to Philly, had some kind of mental effect where he was just like, I don't know, hate to say it, but depressed in a way of having such success in New York and then going to a place where they were building up to what they eventually became. I don't know.
By the time the Phillies were there, but when he went to the Phillies, they were a season or 2 away from going to the World Series, having their World Series appearance. So they were on the precipice at that point. So the Yankees were still struggling. They hadn't made it to a World Series at that point. So you're kind of going, you're going up the ladder the same way. Like you just went from one deep run playoff team to another deep run playoff team.
They should have kept him. Could have avoided this whole situation. We wouldn't have had IKF here. Volpe, I think, probably would have still shown up, but at a later, probably around this time, maybe last season.
I think if it maybe last season, maybe in the season before, they would have given him a full year. I think they would 2023, they would have given him full time in AAA. And 2024 would have been his first season in the bigs, I think.
Yeah, possibly.
You still had Peraza, which they would have had to figure out what. But then it just creates a problem down the minors where what you do with Peraza, what you do with Volpe, because because at that point, don't forget Peraza was a full level ahead of Volpe.
Yeah.
So, you're moving Peraza to third base, you're moving Volpe to second base. There's a lot of things you could do at that point. Like you could have made these moves. Then you could have had, maybe you don't have Jazz, and then you play the what if game along the way because they had to make other deals down the line. So it's a fun game to play, but either which way, we have the roster that we have right now.
I still think you would have ended up with Jazz. I still think they would have moved on from Torres eventually.
I think Torres was going to go, but I don't. What I'm saying is that I don't think that. I don't think that if you actually worked and got Peraza and Volpe up there together, I don't think you would have had what's it called? I don't think you would have had the overall need because one of them was going to take over regular at shortstop. One of them was going to take over regular at second base, and you could have just made your figure. You could have figured everything out at that point because you would have had them both playing at the same time.
Yeah. I still think what happened to Peraza would have happened anyway. Just the way they devalued him towards the end. Which
they devalued him
really
the entire since
was a head scratcher.
They devalued him since 2023 after he came up batting 300 in the short span in 2022, and then just wouldn't play him for weeks on end. Put him into a playoff game, making spectacular defensive stops, spectacular, and then go hit now. Here's what we think: if you go hit now, after you don't see live batting and you're sitting on the bench for weeks. That's what that's the kind of thing that makes no sense to me what the Yankees do, and that's part of the reason why I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled. I'm not gassed up for this offseason. I was hoping. I really was hoping for something to go big, and no, it's not happening. At least I don't see it. So.
Yeah, I feel like our offseason ended the minute Grisham accepted that qualifying offer.
I do too, to be honest with you.
What the hell? I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. I'm like, who turns down $22.5 million for 1 year when you've made $10 million over the last 2 seasons combined? Nobody.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people turn it down because they see that they can make more money long term than they can. He can't make the money long term, and he's gonna probably be out of baseball in like 3 years.
I mean, it just goes to show you
that's a hot take. That's a hot take in of itself. What I just said.
It just goes to show you that the player has enough self-awareness to go. Probably not going to get this kind of money out in the open market. Let me cash in now while I can and take my chances later. That's what that was.
What he's betting on is the fact that he goes, okay, I got $22.5 million right now, and then who knows what's going to happen after? Who knows where I'm going to be after this lockout? If I can ever sniff.
I mean, the qualifying offers are just going to keep going up and up. Like, look what we were a couple of years ago. I think a qualifying offer was like, 15 to 18 million. And then it just kind of steadily increased from there as the years went on.
He can't get another qualifying offer.
No. I'm saying in totality, the qualifying – a couple of years ago, a qualifying offer was between 15 million and back in 2022. It went up to 18 million in 23.
18.9.
18.9, and then went up to about 20 mil last season, and now we're at 22.5. So you look at where the trajectory of this is going, you're going to – at some point, you're going to have guys getting qualifying offers at $30 million a year.
Good.
If this keeps going the way it's going.
You could have that. Or what they need to do is actually go back to like the tiered system, because they did a blanket. They got rid of that tiered system where it's like A tier, B tier, C tier player. Like you could get somebody who, and then your draft picks are kind of comparable to that, which they got rid of that. That's next offseason. I don't want to get into this offseason. That's stupid. That's not a conversation for now. The conversation for now is that 12 p.m. is the winter
Less
meetings
than an
starting
hour.
less than an hour from when we're recording, and then hopefully you get to see something big. What's the I don't care if it's the Yankees or not. What's the biggest thing we're gonna see? What's the first domino is gonna happen, Dave? What do you think? Is it gonna be a trade or a signing? What do you think? Trade or signing?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think you're gonna see Tucker go to the Blue Jays.
That's very possible.
I think they're going to be forced to with how George Springer's declining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Tucker go to the Blue Jays. I think that might be the first domino that falls. Well, maybe not the first, but first big domino. I think first day might see some lower end stuff. I think you might see Mike King sign somewhere. I think you might see maybe Seager waive his no trade clause and go somewhere else.
He already said he was waiving his no trade clause.
I know, but I think you might actually see something happen with it.
But I think a Seager trade is a bigger move than Mike King signing. Like I can see like a Ketel Marte trade happening.
Ooh, I don't know. D-backs really like him.
They do, but they can get. But there's been problems over there, and they can move on from him because he's got a team friendly deal. They can get guys back for him. Plays a hell of a second base.
Well, and they also need to figure out what they're doing with Jordan Lawler. So
yeah, he should be up there and staying up there for quite some time. That's another thing. But yeah, I think you start off with not. I don't think you get like you don't come out with the good ribeye just yet or Wagyu steak on day one. You're kind of you go in appetizers.
Wagyu steak.
Yeah, because you know why? Know why? Because I think the big deals. I think a big trade. I think a trade will happen before big signings happen. I think that I think the Marlins are going to make a move. I think the Marlins are going to trade one. It's either Sandy or Edward Cabrera.
Well, they got Yuri Perez too, so they got two.
Yuri Perez ain't moving anywhere. Not for a while. He's still under he's still under rookie contract statuses.
Yeah, they got we know the Marlins. They didn't think the Marlins were going to trade Pablo Lopez, and look what happened. Look what happened. People didn't think Jesus Luzardo was going anywhere. He ended up moving. So when it comes to the Marlins, I don't put anything past them.
No, I agree.
They'll be organ donors to the right person for the right price.
Yeah, no, what you're saying about the Marlins is true, but I also think the Yankees are going to get Sandy. They were linked to him last year, the last trade deadline. I think the Yankees are going to pull the plug, and obviously, I think it could be like the precursor to re-signing Bellinger, but I think Jones I think Dominguez goes down to Miami. That's my call. Is that Dominguez is part of the deal that goes down to Miami.
I think Sandy would be the backup plan if they don't get Amai out of Japan.
I want Amai first. I want Amai, but I think that the Yankees are very stuck in their ways, and I think that getting Sandy on a 1-year deal over Amai over multiple years, where they're still paying Garrett Cole for another 3 It's 3 years. 3 years at $36 million, and supposedly they're still working out a deal to keep him for another year or two after that.
Believe it when I see it.
Yeah, you got $27 million for both. AAV $27 million for both Rodon and for Max Fried. So I think $15 million for Sandy is a better deal than 25 for Amai, which will then give them the opportunity to fill in the holes that they need going into next season. I think this is the place setter for next season. Everything they do right now is table setting for what they want to do after the lockout.
Oh, we'll see. But I think that's going to do it for us. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Like we said, we'll be back on Thursday this week, and then the following Monday after that. Probably going to take a little bit of a break for Christmas and New Year's, depending on if there's any big time news or anything. But you can catch us on all of our audio platforms. We're on all of them. You can catch us on the Baseball Banter Broadcast YouTube channel. So make sure you go and like and subscribe and hit the bell for post notifications to get notified when we do new content. That channel's hopping right now. We're working with a lot of different content creators from a lot of different teams across the league. Roman Rodriguez and I, who he covers the Rays, we're going to do our own What the Fork Ball show, which is going to be a late night show if you're reading between the lines after everyone's in bed. So stay tuned for that. And we'll catch you on the next one. So see you soon.